Welcome to Meet the Polymaker. I am your host, Nightcore, and this is a show where we talk about 3D printing things, news, everything from space to cars to health to medicine and everything in between. We also showcase community prints, amazing prints we see through our Discord that people submit and share. We get inspiration from, ideas from what to print. And then we end that with a Meeting the Polymaker. Every week we have a new guest. This guest this week makes a really cool product. Some of you may already have, so we'll meet him a little bit later. Other than that, if you're a first timer or if you haven't been here for a while, down below, right there, see that I am awesome in chat. That is going to enter you for a chance to win a spool of filament at the end of the show. That works for YouTube and Twitch viewers. Does not work for TikTok yet. I don't know if we're gonna be able to get that running. I've tried looking into it. But right now, if you're on TikTok and watching, we greatly appreciate you. Head over to Twitch or YouTube just real quick to enter in the I am awesome in chat. That'll get you entered in for your chance to win a spool of filament. So with that said, let's move right into the news. And first off, we're going to talk about a fully adaptive nozzle. This is not one yet to switch out, change up, some type of tool changer. This is the video is really cool to watch. It is a fully changing for size and shape of the nozzle. Can't really tell in this picture, and there were so many pictures I had to try to choose what best showcased it. This is on the fly able to adjust the nozzle size. That's going to help with accuracy and speed. Be able to change, extrude larger lines, thinner lines, and shaped lines for certain applications. It uses 8 total arms, little like micro arms that are controlled by motors that are attached to an elastic membrane. I don't know exactly what material it is. It's obviously some type of heat resistive elastic. And it must have a stiffness to it because the pins, they're very little pins. You see me doing this. Watching the video, there's 8 of these and they just move back and forth, and they can move just one or the other and change it to a rectangle, a triangle, a circle. Really cool. It's created by a team at Johns Hopkins, a bunch of civil and system engineers, crazy engineers coming up with crazy things. Who would have thought? And they've labeled it as the AN3DP, or the active nozzle for 3D printing. It just again allows smoother continuous surfaces, enhancing quality of prints from simple prints on up to aerospace material. So again, I don't know the limitations of that membrane, if there's certain materials that it can't do, but they specifically said up to aerospace materials. So that's going to be interesting to see what they come with that. If it stays an industrial thing, or maybe somebody makes a really cool one for personal use. I see a lot of cool things coming from it, not just from the structure and accuracy part, but from the creative part. What can you do on changing the different layer heights on the fly? So just thought it was a very cool thing from a team at Johns Hopkins. Next up, we're going to talk about the Fabrico Revision D upgrade kit. This is for the Vorons, specifically the Trident and the 2.4. This is going to be a kit that has changed a few things up in the kit. It's still going to be a, print your parts, you get all the parts as a kit, but it's going to include a new microcontroller, a new USB controller, and some other parts. Basically, the update is from an Octopus board to a Leviathan controller, and then also includes a Nighthawk SP toolhead, used a single wire and an integrated accelerometer. So just a cleaner installation, smoother setup, basically. For those that haven't built a Voron, this might not mean anything to you. I haven't built one myself yet. I'm glad I've waited because there's different revisions coming out all the time. Different new parts. It also upgraded to a Bondtech IDGA extruder gear. These kits from Fabrico, the 2.4 kits start at $12.99. The Trident kits start at $11.69. Of course, that price is going to vary depending on your build size. I think they do 180, 200, 250, or 200, 250, 350. The Voron guys know. If you're interested, you've probably done your research, but just more tech coming out, especially for the custom printers, along with, of course, the non-custom ones. Then we're going to talk about none other than Prusa. We always have an article, usually something about bamboo. This week is Prusa. They are now in the US, which that might not make sense to some people because, like, wait, Printed Solid has been reselling their printers and their filament, which is still true, but that partnership is now growing to where they are moving they're adding some manufacturing of their filament, and right now, currently, the MK4 printer to the US. This allows for a couple different things. Hopefully, we haven't seen anything yet on pricing. Hopefully, it means, of course, cheaper pricing because we're not paying shipping from the UK or from Prague. But other than that, it also allows them to open up for, there's a lot of government facility or government departments and companies and contracts that require US built or made product. This is going to help them with that. Now they're going to be actually US based, made in the USA. Right now, Printed Solid has an employee base of 30. They're looking to, of course, to expand that because they're going to need it, building a ton of Prusa printers and filament. I couldn't find any information on what lines of filament. I mean, of course, they have the Prusa, but I'm not sure if it's just going to be kind of the base colors at first and maybe expanding to all of them eventually, or I don't know how it's going to work. You're going to be able to get some of it to the US at maybe a better price, and then the rest you still have to order from overseas, but we shall see. But it hopefully means cheaper products for us. So we'll find out. That is going to actually start, they're going to start producing the MK4 on site in their Delaware facility this month. So we'll have to wait and see what that means for the consumer. Next up, we are going to look at a 3D printed robotic tail. So why this looks kind of just like it's an artsy project, kind of cool. The designer is Chandler Ching, and this is an augmented limb to enhance movement. The ideal is to enhance movement and zero gravity. So for further space exploration, for astronauts to be a little bit more free in movement and basically be able to still be tethered and be able to kind of switch from one spot to the next. But right now it's a long tether. There's a lot more, I think, complications or obstacles that they have to be wary of the way they tether currently. Right now, of course, it's 3D printed. That's great for the space station because then they can 3D print them up there in parts as needed. I was looking at some of the pictures right now. It's like wires, bolts, and rubber bands that are used. The video is actually on YouTube on his account, and it actually shows him kind of using just a section of it to whip around a branch, like a pretty thick branch, and be able to move it and pull it. Got the idea, of course, from the movement of a snake and how they wrap around things, and then the strength of dinosaur tails was the inspiration. So just a really cool project that he's done. It just showcases the potential of 3D printing in the space exploration area. Can't talk. Last up, we're going to talk about the world's first 3D printed skate park. This is going to be done in Paris for the Paris Olympic Games. And starting July 18th, they're going to start building it. It's going to be a 400-meter squared skate park, which then you're thinking, well, how is it 3D printed? Obviously, it's going to be concrete. The brainchild of it is a French company by the name of Saint-Gobain, and they are using a multi-meter high machine to produce what they are calling basically the sections, or what they're calling modules to this. The modules each weigh approximately 750 grams. They can take 1 to 2 hours to make, which is insane. So that's able to basically, they're looking 2 weeks from design to delivery for the entire skate park. Of course, there's probably going to be painting some extra stuff on there. But with the design, they work directly with skateboarders to see what is the ideal best setup for ramps and half pipes and tubs and everything else. I don't know all the technical names, but all the cool things of a skate park. And this is going to be open to the public, but it also going to be used for the Olympic Games. Just another cool thing that's concrete printing that is not home related. But that is it for the news. Let's move on right onto the print highlights. And first up, we are going to take a look at a lightsaber keychain. So this is printed by Computer Medic in our Discord. The model itself is by Josiah Josh. It is available on Cults 3D. This is a limited edition, as per Computer Medic, a Polymaker teal lightsaber. These are, I'm not sure how many he's going to make, but these are going to be available for taking off the table, I believe, at 3D Printopia. So he's making these as kind of giveaways. So if you're there, stop by the booth. You might be able to snag one of these before they get taken all. But just really cool miniature, multicolor, and it's collapsible too. So that's going to be just like the big ones in a very, very small form. Next up, we're going to take a look at a large, awesome print by Stephen Poole. This is the War Rig truck. This is by GameBody.com. It is paid model, but it is awesome. And of course, it's Mad Max derivative. It's really cool of just the size. I'm not sure. I couldn't find details if it's going to be RC or if it even allows for RC operation. If so, that would be pretty awesome. Maybe enter it into the Death Races somehow, or modify it to be Death Racer compatible. But as you can see, he's got a banana for scale, so that is how large it is. It's just a cool print, and there was a ton of parts. He had a couple different pictures in our Show Off Prints channel, and there are a lot of parts that go into this of just intricate little pieces. And yeah, I don't know if I have the patience for it, but at least he did, and he shared it. So thank you, Stephen Poole. Next up, we've seen these around. A lot of people have been printing them. I thought this was a really cool one. Just I believe I did. I think he mentioned it. It's gonna be one of the Starlights. I don't remember which color. Maybe not Twilight. I'm not sure, but it's a beautiful print. It's a controller pillow by Hollow Props. This model is available on Things, and this was printed by our community member Dawn. Like I said, great choice of color, and just it's crazy how they look like a pillow. Like you actually just threw a controller into a cushion. So cool print. Thank you for sharing. Next up, a print by Clavius or Clavius. This is going to be the Apollo 11 lunar module. This is available on fab365.net, I believe. Google search fab365. He does a ton of models, and a lot of them are in parts, so you don't have to have multi-material or multi-color printers. This is a very intricate one. Of course, it's 4th of July. What's more American about a lunar landing? So I thought it was just an awesome print, and why not share it? So thank you again for sharing. And last up, you're not gonna see a whole lot of details on this. This is the Polymaker Scientist. This I have been waiting to share until they've actually unveiled it at Rapid TCT. This is the official Polymaker Scientist that you guys have seen in small form in our stands. And this is 2 meters high, I believe, if I remember right, 42 kilograms of PET G, printed by the fella in the picture standing next to it. That is Traxman. Awesome community member. He's been a great help at the events. And he took on this project full bore with very limited time, and he doesn't have a slew of Prusa XLs or anything of that nature. He's got modified Inter 5s, and that I think there's only 2 or 3 that was doing it. So he put this together. It's in sections. He pegged it, everything. Was able to make a crate for it, ship it to Rapid TCT, have them be able to assemble it all for the show, and it looks great. It is an amazing print. And what I do have, I'm going to share real quick here, is we have a time lapse of Nick and crew at the Polymaker booth at Rapid TCT doing the assembly. So stay tuned and just watch this for just a minute, and I'll be right back. Awesome time-lapse video. There are a lot more photos in the Discord of Nick standing to this thing. Traxman already is tall. I can't remember how tall he is. Nick, of course, is same height as Michael Jordan. I think 6 foot something. I don't know, maybe 12 foot, somewhere up there. But as you've seen, this thing is not glued together. Traxman not only was able to cut it all in the appropriate pieces, to assemble it as best as possible, to make it look as good as possible, but also pressure fitted pins. That is so this thing can be disassembled, put back in a crate, in its final resting place. I'm not sure, possibly the Polymaker headquarters in Texas. I think if Nick had enough room in his Polylab studio that he's building, he would definitely put it there, but he's limited on space. So we'll see what else comes from Traxman. I know he's now our large model printer. So anything else we need really big, we know who to hit up, and I'm sure he'll be more than happy to take the 1 week deadline of something that takes 42 kilograms. He was getting a little bit more time on this one, but still, awesome job. Thank you as always to all the community that share in their prints. That is in our show off prints channel on our Discord at discord.polymaker.com. So make sure to share there. You might be featured on next week's show. And other than that, we're going to be meeting our maker here just shortly. We're going to have a brief commercial break for those who haven't been here before. These commercials are some in-house, some community made. You're able to actually submit your own commercial in our commercials channel on our Discord. There's all the rules there of what we're looking for. And if we do use your commercial on the show, you get $100 voucher for Polymaker filament. So if you got some ideas ticking in there, it does not have to be high production. We like to have fun with it. You know, don't stress over if it looks perfect or great, if it's centered. It's a fun thing. If you got a good idea, you know, infomercial that you used to watch as a kid, and hey, let's kind of do a spoof on it. Tons of ideas out there. I know you guys have them, so feel free to submit them. And I promise, next week, guys, it's not going to be the same list of commercials. I'm going to kind of mix it up. So I've been slacking on that, but stay tuned, watch these commercials, and I'll be right back with our next maker.
Has this ever happened to you? Have you just been minding your own business and you drop your PLA print?
There's gotta be a better way.
Well, now there is. With our Polylite PLA Pro, you won't have to worry about dropping your PLA prints ever again. Just look how these tests held up to our drop test, the same one that we did with PLA. If you need even more impact resistance, make sure you check out our Polymax PLA. This hammer is no match for Polymax PLA.
This is Polymax PLA, the toughest PLA in the world, and today we're gonna put that to the test. I printed this very mechanical model and we're gonna drop it from the 12th floor. You heard me well, the 12th floor. Let's go! Ready for the first drop in 3, 2, 1. Whoa, that's crazy! Not even a scratch! Let's go and check it closer. Not even a single scratch. I dropped it again from the 12th floor and still not a single scratch. Buy your Polymax PLA right now!
Performance may vary depending on usage, individual factors, and external conditions. Individual result may vary, not a guarantee of specific outcome. Consult your professional before use. See website for details and limitations. Use responsibly.
Imagine owning some of the best songs about 3D printing this Discord has to offer. Polymaker presents 3D Printing Hits by Silverback and Little D, the best renditions of some of the greatest hits of all time. Hits like Hallelujah, Polly Smooth Criminal, All That She Wants Is Another Printer, Print Away,
There you go, print away.
Still the TD1, All About That Bag, No Stabbies, and Polyman.
It's a file tonight. We're all in the mood to see it extrude, 'cause you've got your printer tuned right.
Reserve your CD today with a special TV offer by going to polymaker.com and paying $39.99. Have your credit card ready. Seriously though, this music was a joke. Go buy some Polymaker.
And welcome back to the show, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the commercials. And remember, you can submit your own and be featured on the show. So thanks to all that I've already submitted in the past. They have always been great. Enjoy watching them. So without ado, we are here to meet a new maker. This one, like I said, has a really cool product. I'll let him talk about. You guys may have or may have not already had one, waiting on one, plan on ordering one. So let's introduce our next maker. And welcome in Phil from Ember Prototypes. How's it going, Phil?
Hey, Joel. Thanks for having me on the show.
Hey, thanks for stopping in. So what is it that that you make? Well, let's start off with who are you and what do you make?
Okay. My name is Phil. I'm a mechatronics engineer. I've worked on a bunch of different things from like robotics to wearables and things throughout my career. I'm also the founder of Ember Prototypes, who you guys mostly probably know me from the build plates, the custom build plates. So we make custom textured PI build plates. There's one back here. This is a really big one. This is actually for Joel, the 3D printing nerd. But we can talk, yeah, I can talk more specifics later about the product. But we do 3 things at Ember Prototypes. I run a service bureau, so I have a lot of different machines. I've got Formlabs machines, I've got other FDM printers. We have a CNC plasma cutter, CNC mill. We've got a laser cutter. The second thing that we do is we do product design and consulting. So if somebody has an idea for a product, I'll take it from prototyping all the way to manufacturing and handing them off with like a contract manufacturer. And then the last thing is, yeah, starting to sell our own products. Basically, as a service bureau, there's a lot of functional problems that I've solved for myself. And so we're taking those and turning them into products.
Makes sense. Yeah, because I'm sure problems you have or things that you're solving, there's probably thousands or hundreds of thousands of people with the same problem.
Totally. Yeah.
So now you said mechatronics. I've never heard that before. What exactly is mechatronics?
Yeah, so mechatronics is like both mechanical engineering and electrical engineering. So the easiest example to give is like robotics, right?
Okay.
So robotics encompasses mechanical, but also movement, like motors, drivers, everything to make the motion happen. I'm actually an electrical engineer by training, but like many makers, I ended up just teaching myself mechanical engineering. So I taught myself SolidWorks, taught myself CAD, had the fortune of meeting certain people and working under certain people who were like heavily mechanical focused and really great mentors. So now I'm like a jack of all trades. And
there you go.
Yeah, it's fun. It's definitely more fun than just doing one thing.
So the electrical engineering, you didn't learn enough there that you figured, let's just learn more. Let's just be
I guess so, yeah.
Human encyclopedia.
I get bored very easily. So
fair, and that gets into how you made a lot of creations that we won't ever see, you know, the light of day, like just crazy weird things like I'm just going to make it just to make it.
Yeah. There's definitely some things that I've just like made and like, you know, kind of. I feel like I tell my wife this. I have the blessing, but also the curse of like having too many ideas. So some things, I'll like think about, I'll work on for a little bit, and then they'll just go off and die. Either they'll die because like they don't end up being that fruitful, or I get distracted by something else. So. Yeah.
I think that you just explained 95% of the 3D printing community. I think most of us have that list of projects in our head, like what's next, and then you get those lists, you do some of them or do half jobs, and then you move on to the new stuff. And so of course the main product of late, at least, not to take away from everything else you do, what exactly is this build plate? Of course people have seen it, but can you explain a little bit more about the detail of it?
So basically, I'm offering a product where you can customize a textured PI build plate. So no minimum order quantities. You can just send the artwork, you can send me your artwork and you just can order one plate and I'll make one plate for you and I'll send it to you. So there's like 2 versions of this product. One is to have a thick coating, which is like what you see here. And the goal of that is to, I don't know how well this will show up.
The transfers over.
The goal of the thick coating plates is to transfer like a watermark or your logo onto the first layer of printed parts. So a cool way to, yeah, watermark or brand your products. And then
Oh.
this is a special plate for Joel. Like they're not normally double-sided because it takes me twice as long to make.
Yeah.
This is actually what this plate itself, like one side of this takes an hour to make, which is kind of ridiculous. So this takes 1 hour
I'll
and
assume
this
that's
took
a
another 1
Prusa
hour.
XL.
No, this is
That's
actually
something-
it's a Comgrow T500. So it's
Oh,
like
the
a,
T500. Okay, yeah.
yeah, so it's around 520-ish millimeters. So it's quite big. Yeah, so this takes me 2 hours. So this isn't something I normally offer. But anyways, the other type of plate you can get is a thin version, which is what you see here. And this isn't meant to imprint at all. It still will imprint like a very, very tiny bit, but that's kind of the nature of the process and how we coat the plates. So yeah,
And I was
that's
not
essentially
to not to get into the details, of course, to how you do it, but is it something that's done while you coat the plate, or is it something like, so you have that black texture, of course, the PEI. Do you do something that's over top of it, or is it kind of an all one process done?
So we get
Without
the
giving
plates.
too much.
Yeah, no, it's a fine question. We get the plates powder coated with PEI first, and then we apply the coating on after. And so there's kind of two reasons for that. One is my shop is 200 square feet, and like I said, I do like those three different. Basically, I run three businesses underneath the umbrella of like one business, right? So we do all three of those things in this tiny space. So everything needs to be mobile. I need to accommodate like many different types of things. So I can't really do powder coating in this setup as of yet, right? So that's reason number one. Reason number two is buying all the plates pre-made and then just doing the coating makes it easier for us to be able to just like sell these plates with no minimum order quantities. I am working on some new things down the road that might change how that's done, but it's still kind of like a moonshot away. So
now with that powder coating the sheets, are you getting the sheets cut per order, or are you buying like a bulk of specific sheets for certain printers, or how are you doing that part for the metal itself?
Yeah. So that's the tricky part actually, because we offer so many different sizes, right? So right now, how I'm doing it is I'm taking like pre-order batches. So around the cadence right now has been like every 2 months. I'll take orders, and then I can basically take like that spreadsheet of different plate sizes, go to the manufacturer, get the plates cut, get them powder coated, and then sent to me. So right now I'm actually on batch 2, and I've already started to order a bit more of specific plate sizes, the ones that are really popular. So my goal is that, maybe we do this pre-order batch thing for one other round, but I'm hoping that I can just start having more inventory. So when somebody
Where's
submits
the more
an order,
constant?
exactly, yeah. Like I'm aiming for like 2 to 4 weeks instead of what it is now, which is like 4 to 8 weeks. So
I think that, yeah, so through the orders you can base it of what's the most popular. That way you're not having an overhead of, oh wow, I sold 3 of these plates, I still have 50 of them in stock that I'm never going to use again.
Yeah. I was very worried about that in the beginning.
Oh yeah, no, I think you're doing it the right way, and from what I've seen so far, and just what I've talked to other people that have received theirs and have used them, well worth the wait. Now size wise, is the one, I know that this is a kind of a one-off for the one behind you, is that the largest one you've done so far?
I think this is, yeah, so the max I can accommodate is 525 by 525, and that's just
Okay.
like a limitation of some of the equipment
machine.
that we had and that we built for making these. So this one is a little like a tiny bit smaller than the biggest one we've ever done.
Okay.
But this is the biggest thick coated plate that I've ever done.
Okay. Yeah,
So
with all the logos and everything else.
with all the logos,
Yeah.
yeah. The other big plates were all thin coated plates. So yeah, the thick ones are a bit harder. They're a bit more challenging. Just because the thing is so much larger. There's a lot more variations in like height, thickness, flatness. Yeah.
And I've noticed too, like, so on the website and even like on this one behind you, they of course, obviously it's for display to show exactly what it does. Do you test print on every single one, or is it kind of just as you go along?
I try to. So I try to test print on every single one. The only reason I actually have a test print on this plate is because I made a test plate on a Bamboo Lab printer before I threw this guy on, right? Because like I was saying earlier, this is a 2 hour time
Yeah.
investment. I didn't want to just like waste it. Yeah, so I did do a test print on a Bamboo Lab plate. But normally, with plates this big, I actually can't test print it because I don't have a
You don't have the
Combro
printer.
T500. Yeah, but if it is on a printer that I can print with, I will always do a test print and then also ship it to the customer because it's just kind of cool to like unbox it and see what it would
And
look like, right?
oh, for sure. Now, as well, what was I gonna say was with the big one there. You said that one's said about 2 hours or so. What's a
Yeah,
typical? What's your normal? Let's say a Bamboo, a 256 by 256, or I know it's a little bit larger, but
yeah. It's like it depends on the artwork, but it can be anywhere from like 15 to 30 minutes.
oh,
So
okay,
yeah,
oh,
it's
so not bad.
definitely it's not bad, but it's also definitely not like super quick for high throughput. But it's
Oh yeah,
fine.
especially
Like
when you get a list of orders in. I'm trying to, it's not like you're just putting it, feeding a plate and then it's spitting it right out.
yeah. Like the whole process is still not super automated, right? It's always it's always a struggle from like an engineering and like product launching perspective. Like you always want to optimize to try to reduce labor and like make things as fast as possible, but then
Mhm.
you obviously don't want to do that before you even know if there's like a product market fit. So yeah, it's like it's as best as it can be right now, but it's still pretty labor intensive.
Oh yeah. Now with the how you said, of course, certain build plates you can't test because you don't have the printer for it. Is it getting to a point now to where you can kind of eyeball, the graphics and everything? Like, okay, that should be good. Everything looks good. Where you're getting used to it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and it's taken me longer than I would have liked, to be quite honest. Like there's definitely been some plates where I've had to scrap just because the artwork had lines that were like way too thin, and so when I put the coating on, it would actually break off
Pull off.
during the process. Yeah, uh, or just yeah, other artwork challenges. So definitely now I'm much more familiar with what looks like it will work and what won't. And also over the past actually week or two, rebuilt our entire coating fixture, so things are a lot more uniform now. So like the reason why I was saying this is the first large plate that I've done a thick coating on is because um, in the past, before I updated the fixture, it would actually be really hard to make the coating on this large of a plate uniform everywhere in terms of like thickness and consistency.
Okay.
Uh, but it's like a lot better now. So yeah, over time things have gotten dialed in much more.
And I think that's with any product, like you said, as you start, you kind of figure out what works, what doesn't, and tweak it. Now, with
Mhm.
these PEI, is there any type of limitations with these logos and what you can print on it, or is it just limited to the same thing any other PEI sheet is?
Yep, just limited to the same thing that any other PI sheet is. We ran like a whole bunch of beta tests back in January, I think. Yeah, and people printed PETG, TPU, nylon, PACF, ABS, everything, and seems to hold up pretty well. So
Now, is it still safe to use like the glue or the Vision Miner nanopolymer? Everything else is treated as
yep,
such.
yeah, I've printed a lot with Dymafix. I don't have Vision Miner stuff, but I use Dymafix a lot because I
Oh,
print a lot of ABS and warpy polycarbonate stuff. So Dymafix seems to work totally fine. Uh, but it I always say it's like through all the testing, it's been fine, but I can't control what people do with their build plates,
oh
right?
yeah,
Like
for
if
the
you rip your
impatient ones where it's still
exactly,
hot and you're scraping at it and jamming it.
exactly,
Yes.
yeah.
So yeah,
But for practically, it seems to hold up pretty well. And actually, that's the reason why I went down this rabbit hole in the first place. Because you can like imprint textures and logos by like laser engraving a PI sticker or something, right?
oh
Some people
yeah.
have done that. But I wanted a plate that would work for any material, especially engineering materials, because that's what I use a lot. So yeah, that's why I went down this rabbit hole.
Now, was your first goal with when you decided to create it, was it something that you just wanted something for aesthetic, or was your initial idea the thick plate for the logos to be debossed into the bottom?
It was actually the former, and then the thick coating kind of eventually just bubbled up to the surface from based on what people were commenting on social media. Because it took me a long time to dial in the thin coating to get it so that the amount of imprint is minimized, but then you still have good contrast of the logo to like the rest of the plate. And that's actually a real hard challenge to, it's like this really big trade-off that you have to make. But through that process and just me posting it, people were like, oh, what if you try, putting an extra thick coating on? And I did that, and then people went nuts. So
Oh
it
yeah.
was like totally accident. Yeah, yeah. And the product itself was an accident too. So
I think too of kind of what I've seen, it's kind of followed the well, the growth. I don't know if it's growth, but with the P flats, like the
yeah,
shiny stuff and everything, the transfer plates or however you want to call them, texture, not even textured, they're smooth. But I think yeah, I've seen the same as go. Everybody likes to suddenly, on the bottom part of their print, like to have a design, and especially when you can customize it with my own logo or this or that. I thought it was very cool the first time I saw it, and then I know of course a couple people I talked to, so
yeah.
definitely a cool product. Now, is there any other projects that you're currently working on or thinking of bringing out that you're able to talk about? Or
Uh, yeah. So right now, for like maybe the rest of this year, I think I'm gonna focus on the plates and kind of like making sure everything's dialed in, and just getting that up and running. I have some like consulting product design work that I need to do for the rest of this year as well. But my goal is that every year I will launch a new product, which is kind of ambitious, because the future products I want to work on are much more complicated. But so yeah, so next year I can't share too much of the details, but I want to make something that has to do with filament storage, material storage, and handling.
okay,
And
yep.
yeah, it's
So a
it'll be
lot
a
of
cool product.
for your ideas and everything, do a lot of them center around 3D printing, or is it
Yeah,
kind of 50-50?
yeah, it definitely seems to be a lot around 3D printing, and I think it's because the service bureau part of my business heavily focuses on 3D printing. I mean, like I said earlier, I have a laser cutter. Actually, use a laser cutter a lot. I have a plasma cutter, I have a CNC mill, and I do have other ideas with those too. But I think I have a lot of experience with 3D printing and kind of growing in the community and like meeting a lot of neat people in the community as well. So I think it makes sense to kind of focus on that for now, at least until I get those kind of low hanging fruit ideas done, and then maybe I'll work on something else.
Well, I think I can speak for the community that they all love the product that you already have, so I'm sure they're all looking forward to what else you produce. So it definitely seemed like a bright guy. And then real quick, we're going to ask some more questions. But community, if you guys would have any questions for Phil, make sure to ask in chat. I'll catch up with it here in just a minute, and we'll ask him some community questions. But now, so with of course your printers and everything, do you have like resin, FDM, just the whole mix of them? What's your go-to printer? I usually ask everybody.
Hmm. Uh, it depends on the application, but if I can, I'll use the FDM printer. So I currently only have Bamboo Lab machines. Well, that's not true. I have a Race 3D E2,
Okay.
which was the inspiration for like the very first product we launched last year. But I don't really use it anymore. So yeah, if I had the choice, I'll use the Bamboo Lab machine. But it
Okay.
depends. Yeah, I often have to use SLA for like mechanical reasons.
Now with SLA and everything, have you looked into the Micronics SLS?
Yeah, I have. So I did not back them, just because it seems a bit too good to be true. But I'm totally rooting for them, because I think if they are successful and they build a larger machine, I'll buy the larger machine.
Oh yeah, 'cause at
The
a $3,000 price point, at even the smaller form factor, like you said, it's wait and see what it does. How messy is it really? How self sufficient or self cleaning, all that. A lot
mhm.
involved. So, what is your favorite thing to do with? Of course, you said you have CNC, you have laser, you have resin, FDM. When creating just anything in general, like what's your most fun to go play with machine?
That's a good question. I don't know. I kind of like all of them equally, I'll be honest. Like I like I like it when I work on a project and I need to like use all of the machines, right? So it's like I'm combining FDM with like a laser cut piece of acrylic with like a piece of plasma cut steel that I need for rigidity, and I put it all together. Like that's my favorite.
Okay, and I'm excited, especially having all the machines there. Is like you said, just go step one, step two, step three, step four. So
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
imagine 200. But you said 200 by 200 square foot room or office. How
Yeah,
large
200
is
square
it?
feet. Yeah,
So
200.
how compact are you in there right now with all those machines?
Pretty tight, yeah. I have like I have room for maybe a couple more things. Like I want to put a manual lathe in here, and then I still
Oh,
need a
man.
drill press. Yeah, but I mean, I can show a little bit.
Now, is this an
Kind of,
extension of your
yeah.
home, or is this an office or like an actual building?
It is my garage actually.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. Let's see.
And how does the wife feel of you taking over the garage?
It was agreed upon before we moved in. So
There you go.
yeah. So that's the space. I've got my like Formlabs printer, one of my Formlabs printers in there. I actually have a solvent recycling system for all the IPA, so I just recycle it in house.
Awesome.
That's the big SLA printer. There's some, just ignore the cardboard. There's some secret stuff going on there.
Fair.
That's where the CNC plasma is, and then that's where my mill is, and then this is the plastic laser cutter. So it's a
It's
pretty
got
tight
some room to
space.
move, but it's
Yeah,
tight but comfortable.
tight but comfortable. Yeah. And yeah, like I was saying earlier, I do a lot of things in a very small space, so I have to be very intentional about the machines that I get, how do I set up the space and that kind of stuff, because I need to be mobile in terms of like, okay, this bench needs to be cleared so I can do electronics, and then
Yeah.
like next week I need to like 3D print stuff, So
It's got to stay fully functional. Yeah.
mhm.
Unlike some of us that have tons of printers and basically Tetris them and put them wherever they can be, and sometimes it's not the most convenient. So
Right,
now
yeah.
is that area? Do you have your garage insulated? Heat and air, or like where are you located?
Oh yeah, sorry, I did not say that earlier. I'm in Vancouver, Canada, so I'm on the
Okay.
west coast. So we don't have like too wild of a swing of temperature throughout the seasons. But yes, like I insulated the garage. I put a heat pump in before like kind of ripping up the space and setting it up for my business. So because I spend a lot of time in
You
here.
planned
So.
ahead well.
Yes, yeah. I 3D modeled the entire garage. Like that, I think that gives you a glimpse of
Smart.
like my personality. Like, yeah. So I 3D modeled the whole thing. I like put all the machines in certain places to figure out like where it's optimal to kind of lay out everything. So
And probably making sure,
yeah,
here's a power outlet, here's a power outlet. Okay, this is in this
exactly.
circuit and this circuit. So
Yeah,
a
yeah,
lot of thought process. So
yeah.
now do you look to possibly expand or just getting an actual separate location with the way things are going? I mean, it's hard to kind of forecast, but
Yeah, yeah. So actually in 2020, between 20 to 21, I had actually been looking for commercial space. So we were in a small apartment at that time. And I spent around a year looking for a small light commercial warehouse space.
yeah.
And it was just very difficult to find at the time in Vancouver. So then we ended up just deciding, okay, like we'll move here. I'll take the garage, and it's better than paying some landlord for some warehouse space anyway. I don't think in the foreseeable future I'll be getting commercial space, but you never know. Like you said, it's hard to forecast. I
Yeah.
don't know. I think that moonshot idea that I have, that's kind of like an extension of those plates, might force me to have to get space, but I really, I'm
Not a
really
bad problem to have.
trying. Sorry?
Not a bad problem to have.
Not a bad problem to have, but I'm really trying to not like grow and expand too
Outgrow
quickly.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. Let me see. I haven't been watching the chat here. Ooh.
Am I near Linus Tech Tips? Yes, extremely close. Actually, Morgan from Hedamame just put me in touch with someone there last week. So
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So future collabs and projects, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Have you tried cast iron or other materials besides steel, or is the cost to benefit ratio heavily favoring steel?
For these plates,
I'm
I'm
guessing.
assuming.
That's by
Yeah.
polymorph it does that.
Yeah. I don't think you can use cast iron. So the steel that they use for these plates is a special type of steel.
Spring
It's called
steel.
spring steel. Yeah.
Yep.
So cast iron probably wouldn't work because you wouldn't be able to bend it, or you would bend it and it would like
And break or
break or deform permanently. Yeah.
yeah, coating would be odd, but let's see here. And now, which one? Now that you've kind of worked with the, I know you don't do the powder coating yourself. Is there? Because of course we've seen the black and we've seen the gold from like bamboo.
Mhm.
Is there an option for colored plates? Is it possible to, if you know, to color like the PEI?
Yeah. So as far as I know, there's only black and like gold, which is the natural color of Ultim.
Okay.
Yeah. I had initially thought about offering both colors, but then it would have made the logistics of like stocking inventory and ordering plates like twice as hard. So
Oh,
so I
yeah.
decided not to. And actually the contrast of the coating on top of the black pops
yeah.
out a lot more. So
Because there's the coating itself. Is the coating strictly a white coating, or can it be dyed?
right now it's white, but I'm looking into and trying to find ways to change the color. But yeah, right now it's just white.
Yeah, and white on gold, I don't think would, like you said, number one, the contrast isn't there, and I think this would be a kind of an odd combination. So, as you said too, just to streamline it, let's make it so I can actually have stock and be able to produce things quickly. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Does anybody else have any questions for Phil? I may have missed, but I'm going kind of back and forth like I'm a crazy man, looking at all the chat and scrolling up. The plus side to having multiple monitors, it just looks funny when you're on camera. Tech Jeeper. Not a question, but I think this is in response to Polymorph's question. Be right back. Going to season my build plate. I mean, we technically, for those that use glue stick or nanopolymer, I mean, we technically are seasoning our build plate, so it's not
right. Yeah.
not far off. Let's see here. Looking, wanted to build a wood shop in the garage. Had 2D. Okay, so G Fixler on YouTube was just saying earlier when he was looking for his house, wanted to build a wood shop in the garage, so he had a 2D floor plan, measured all his shop tools and cabinets to lay it out. So yes, you're not the only one to plan it out. Rather than just a mental plan out, let's see it.
Yeah, I actually highly recommend it if anybody's gonna like build out a space, especially if it's a small space, right? It was very helpful.
That's even I'm limited on my workspace, and I basically say it's a real life Tetris game of how I've manipulated things. Of these go here, here, and here, but that's the problem is I kind of had one workbench, added another extension, added another extension, kind of add it as I go, and then have to move around the electrical and everything else. So to be able to just have everything in your mind, put it down and be able to build it is. Now, when you look for your house, were you looking specifically for a house with a garage a certain size, or was it kind of other options and this just kind of fit?
So I guess it's different in different cities or different countries and states, but in Vancouver real estate is very expensive, so there's like no such thing as a home with a bigger garage. Like everything is this tiny single car garage box like that where you can like barely fit your car into.
Yep.
So
the mirrors just scrape as you come in.
Exactly. Yeah. Like this garage actually has a window, which is like amazing. So
a
it just
rarity
kind
in
of
Vancouver.
super rare. Yeah. So it just happened to fit. Yeah.
Awesome. And then let's see, we got Off Axis over in YouTube. Do you do custom build plates, and can you tell us more about them? If you just tuned in, Off Axis, kind of rewatch the VOD when it comes out, but I'll do you do custom build plates? I'll let you answer.
Yes. Yeah. We do custom textured PI build plates. You just send us your logo and we'll apply it either in a thin coating or a thick coating, depending on if you want it to imprint onto your 3D printed part. And we offer a whole bunch of different sizes. So.
And that website too, I've played with it. Is the website's there? You just upload the logo. You select you want thin coat, which as he talked earlier, if you weren't in here, is Thin coat is just more aesthetics, where the thick coat transfers or debosses up to the bottom of your print. Different sizes, it's easily customizable right there. I think even then you send a proof, don't you? Or no,
It
that's
de-
something.
it depends. For some people, I will send a proof. Basically, if the artwork or the request has
Straightforward.
issues, then I
Yeah.
will send a proof. If it's very straightforward, or if you've used the template and it's just like drop and go for me, then I'll just run with it without sending a proof. Yeah.
There you go. And then let's see here. Any questions? Vancouver, super densely populated, so many high rises.
Yes, lots of high rises.
Vancouver, isn't that is that where Ryan Reynolds is from or no?
Yes, yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds has so much to do with 3D printing. I could figure throw that tidbit of information in there. I think that looks like that might be it for the community questions. So we'll end it with some in-depth, as I always say, soul-searching rapid-fire questions. They're really hard to answer, so this might be a while. We always like to start off. First off, what is your favorite? And we're going to stick with FDM here. What is your favorite filament color or and/or material?
Oh, I'm so boring. I just like black because that's like all I print with. Although I did buy, what is it? Like a Galaxy Black or something
Okay.
recently, or Sparkle Black or whatever it's called. And it's super nice. Yeah.
I think you had a YouTube short on it. You did something.
Yes,
I think I
yeah.
seen it when I was stalking your pages.
Yeah, actually, this thing printed for Joel is that material.
Okay,
It's really
yep.
cool. Yeah, but
Okay,
I'm boring.
then-
I just like black.
There's nothing wrong with that. And let's see here. What is your favorite build size? Are you more of you like just what's functional, what you need, or do you prefer the larger the better?
The larger the better for me. Just because it gives me more opportunity to do
You're not
like,
limited.
different things. Yeah.
Fair. And then out of all the prints that you've made, whether it be for the company, for yourself, for family members, what print that you've printed in your lifetime in 3D printing do you love the most or are most proud of?
That's a very hard question.
And with your case too, since you have a lot of machines, we'll go with any creation, like the creation you're most proud of.
Yeah. I don't really know the answer to that question. I mean,
You've made so many things, I'm sure.
I have made like many things. Like I have these two things sitting here that maybe I'll just use as the answer to the as an easy answer to the question.
Easy
But
answer.
yeah, like our first product that we launched last year, I used to 3D print the enclosures ourselves in-house on our Form Labs machines. So that was really cool to be able to just mass produce, the enclosures when we needed them. That was super cool. And then this is also something really neat. So this is entirely 3D printed. And then, so this is 3D printed, and then this is injection molded. So I helped a client, a medical device company, go from a very, very early so this is like the 10th or 20th prototype, where we went from a super early prototype all the way to an injection molded product for them in like 4 months. So
Nice.
this thing is entirely 3D printed, and it's like a traction device for surgeries,
Okay.
for like the operating room. So this is really, really
Yeah.
cool. I actually love telling people about this. So
And that's
yeah.
just one of those instances where somebody came to you with an idea, model, and then you kind of ran with it, and like you said, ran multiple prototypes and come out with the final product.
Yeah, basically, I actually knew him from like a previous job. So he and I were colleagues and friends, but he just happened to work in this medical device company. A lot of the work that I do is through word of mouth or like first, second degree networks. So.
Well, there you go. You've stayed busy doing so. So it looks like it's worked well for you. And then let's see, this might be a hard one for you without outing anybody, but out of all the logos that you've done thus far on build plates, what has been your favorite logo you've worked with?
Ooh. There was one guy, I don't remember their name. I don't think that they're super active on social media, but there was one guy that like sent me this really crazy artwork. It was like, I don't know how to describe it, but it was like, I guess it was literally like a picture or like a piece of art, and he wanted just like a single thick logo on it. I had no idea whether it would turn out, and we did it, and then printed a sample and looked at the imprint, and it was like pretty amazing. It like
looked
literally
awesome.
just looked like the artwork. So that was really cool. But all these kind of pattern logos with people's brands and company names and stuff, those are really, really fun to see. So
Awesome. Well, good answer. Then last but not least, let's say that I have a friend that wants a really cool custom build plate. Who would you recommend? That's an easy answer.
Yeah, if you had a friend,
Hey, let's say I have a friend that's looking to have a really cool custom build plate for their printer.
right?
Where would you send them?
Oh, I see. Ember prototypes. Yeah.
There you go.
I thought you meant like which friend of yours should I recommend?
Oh,
I was gonna say Nick. Tell Nick to get.
We will be getting some for Nick in his Polylab for sure. But so with that said, what is your website? I know we have it displayed, but website, your socials, where can people find you and where can they follow you?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter or X. I'm on Discord. We recently created our own Discord channel. I'm on YouTube as well. The website is just emberprototypes.com, and the links to all our socials are actually on our website. So you can just hop over to our website and follow us if you want on any of those platforms.
Oh yeah, and as I said, I've seen these build plates. I've talked to many people that have received theirs already. They're awesome. Whether you're just wanting a cool thing for viewing, for aesthetics, or for imprinting, it is definitely cool. I can't wait to order some myself. We were talking beforehand of which logo do I go with, so it's more my indecisiveness is with withholding of what I'm going to order, but I'll be in touch. Is there anything else you want to mention before we go?
No, just I'm super grateful that you asked me to be on the show, and it was really fun chatting. And yeah, thank you.
It was great meeting you, and I definitely look forward to seeing future projects. And I will be in touch for a list of build plates for myself and for Nick. So thank you very
Sounds
much for
good.
coming on the show, and you have yourself a wonderful night.
Thanks, Joel.
Have a good one.
Have a good July 4th.
Don't blow off any fingers. See
See
you
ya.
later, Phil. So yet again, another awesome, passionate person in the 3D printing creation community. Thank you very much to Phil for coming in. Always awesome to meet these guys and learn about what they do and kind of the little in behind the scenes of what we can learn. So shared more than what I thought he could. So that was very awesome. Thank you for that. But if you have not entered yet, make sure I am awesome in the chat right now to enter for your chance to win a spool of filament. We will be doing that drawing very shortly here. So get that in there if you haven't already. It is open. I didn't mess it up this time, so just keep putting it in there. But we'll read up, see, make sure I didn't miss anything here. G Fixler on YouTube. You don't have to create a company or necessarily an online presence. Just more of we like to meet makers that have a cool project they're working on. Whether they don't need to be a corporation or an LLC by any means, but if you got something cool, share it in the Discord. If you continue doing something with that, we may have you on the show in the future. Other than that, there's a lot of ways you can communicate or watch Polymaker, see what they do. That is through all the socials, Polymaker or Polymaker_3D. That's across YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. If you're not following yet, definitely follow there. We do have our Discord at discord.polymaker.com. It is a fun, very informational Discord where you can learn a lot. You can ask a lot of questions and get help from a lot of experts, self-proclaimed experts sometimes like myself. But also have a hangout there where we kind of chill and talk about 3D printing anything or just have fun. So lots of projects in the mix that are going to be coming through. So stay tuned to the socials and our Discord. We also have many other projects currently going on. First off is our Polymaker figurines. That is led by Antoine de Missions. And he is doing a new Pokemon every 2 days where he releases a video of it. And it is a multicolored, and that video, once it's released, then unlocks a model to be downloaded on Maker World for free. And you can do multi-material or just the STL itself. He's doing 151. So the first 151 Pokemon with all their evolutions. Awesome. The multicolor ones, he puts what color he's using specifically if you're wanting to match exactly what he's doing. He throws in some kind of different random videos of upgrading them, give them accessories. But make sure to follow him across the board on all the socials. Again, it's Antoine de Missions, or it's Antoine Figurines, I think, on Maker World. It's ENTROIS If you search that in Maker World, there'll be 2 users, his main account and the figurines account. Other than that, again, across all the socials. And then also our newest project is going to be Polymaker_education. Again, on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. That is led by Creatrix Brit, and she's doing an awesome thing of also putting out a ton of videos that I can't keep up with, of a lot of cool things to teach your kids, or if you have somebody that you know works with kids in any capacity, of motor functions, food safety, you know, just overall learning of the world. A lot of cool projects that are modeled in-house. Some you know, they get some other modelers to help out with. Just a lot of cool things there to watch, especially if you have kids. And if you don't, like I said, if you know somebody that works with them, send them that way. There's a lot of cool stuff they can print for free. The same, those models become available for free to download, to print, and use yourself. And last but not least, the last project is Pezliz over on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/Pezliz. Every Wednesday, she does in printing color show sponsored by Polymaker, just talking about the different colors and different filament that they do have. You know, best case or best use case for different colors. And there's a lot coming. There is a lot coming. We've talked about it. I can talk about it now, of course. Panchroma. It is due for release on July 25th. That is in the US. Later, I think in September for the Europeans. So apologize for the delay. It might be Canadians. One of those. Either way, I know right now, July 25th for the US. Watch the website either way. You can kind of get an idea of what colors are coming. I think there's 30 plus colors initially and a ton more coming. There's some new series that are being released that were kind of co-developed with the community in our Awesome Squad meetings. So the more you interact in our Discord, gets you access once you're level 15 there. It gives you access to join those meetings on Wednesdays at 10:30 Eastern, I believe is what it's at now, where you learn about some new stuff behind the scenes, R&D, some new colors. A lot of the names have come from that. Pezliz herself, there you go, she in chat, named the Celestial series, kind of a separate section from Starlight because it's a different, kind of a more translucent with a different kind of glitter. They're beautiful. I've seen them. But if you're going to 3D Printopia, we should have all those displayed with the new scientists, ideally, as long as we don't drop the ball. So definitely visit us there. But with that said, let's move right to the giveaway. Last chance to enter I Am Awesome. Thank you all for coming to the show. As always, we go live every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard, and that is on YouTube, on Twitch, and now TikTok. Kind of figuring that whole aspect out, but it's working. We are live across the board. So definitely check us out. We have a new maker every single week. So always a new person to meet. And so far, I have not found one of the guests not being super passionate about what we talk about, which is great because it's enjoyable to watch. It's enjoyable to hear them talk about their passion or their project they're working on. So I'm getting ready to spin this now. Hopefully everybody's entered. Let's get one more. Anybody, one more entry? We're at 49 entries. Can we do 50? I'll hold out for a few seconds. YouTube, Twitch. If you haven't done so yet, I Am Awesome. Doesn't matter if it's lowercase or capital. Just make sure there's spaces and not underscores. We might already be maxed out. But thank you all for coming to the show. Let's draw this here. Who's going to win? I think it's been Twitch every time. Have we had a YouTube winner yet? Ooh, who's going to be? Who's going to be in Moto Freak on Twitch? Moto Freak, are you here? Oh, and Shenanigans. When did you raid in here? I'm sorry. Oh. Well, hopefully Shenanigans is still in here because it looks like he raided a while ago. Pro Streamer right here. Everybody look here, Pro Streamer. Thank you, Shenanigans, if you're in here. If not, I will thank you when I enter one of your streams here. I'm sure within the next day or two. But congratulations, Moto Freak. Right there, Builder's Mark put on there who to contact, sean.aranda@polymaker.com. One day I'll make sure that I'm actually pronouncing that right. Or if you're on our Discord, you can see Polymaker Sean in the Discord. Message him. Let him know you won spool on Meet the Polymaker on 7/4 of 2024. They'll verify, make sure everything, and you will get a voucher for a free spool of filament. That'll cover the filament and the shipping. I think it's a $35 voucher total. So there you go, Shenanigans. He's still in here. Thanks for hanging around to let me thank you probably an hour after you rated. So appreciate everybody. You guys all have a wonderful night. Stay tuned for just a second because we are going to raid out. And we got to return the favor. Shenanigans raided us. And who are we going to raid to now that is active? Give me just a moment. How about the Zolon? So he is right now building a positron. Let's see here, /raid the Zolon. Let's see here, /raid. Well, you know, I'm learning this, guys. I've only done it 16 times now. Why is it not doing this? Channel. Okay, there we go. So this is gonna be the Zolon. Make sure to give them our love from Meet the Polymaker and Polymaker themselves. The positron, I just recently received one, so I need to probably be watching this myself to get some pointers. Thanks again, guys. Have a wonderful 4th of July if you're in the US. Keep all your fingers. Have a wonderful weekend, and I hope to see you guys here next week.
Thank you.